Slay the Spire 2 is one of the worst games I've ever... It's not that bad, okay? I'm joking, guys. Guys, come on. We all knew that I went into Slay the Spire 2 with admittedly low expectations. From an outside perspective, it really doesn't have that much going for it that appeals to me. Like, yeah, sure, it's a card game. Okay, but so is Uno, and that game destroys both friendships and families. I think I should just go play as Leon and XQC instead. However, this video wouldn't exist if I could just leave it there. And trust me when I say, I tried to leave it there. One thing about me is nothing pisses me off more than seeing other people have fun, especially when said fun is extremely popular. And since I was seeing way more smiles and positivity than I can normally stomach, I knew something had to be wrong with the cosmic balance that is the Steam comment section. Basically, I have a killer case of FOMO when it comes to games that aren't just pressure washing a house or some stupid shit. So I decided to do the unspeakable act known as trying it before you knock it. And it was okay. There wasn't this insane eureka moment, none of that I get it now bullshit. And I can't lie, I was pissed. What could I possibly be missing? My Chungus ass whispered. How can so many people enjoy a game that is essentially clicking on PNGs until you either die horribly in the beginning or die horribly in the end? I just don't get it. But instead of letting a secret on par with the Krabby Patty formula slip through my meat mittens, I continued to play Slay the Spire 2, and what I learned was there is a lot of shit inside this game. Like, so much shit that at the time of writing, I have already forgotten half the shit I wanted to talk about. There's all these characters, there's all these cards, there's all these chance encounters and relics. There's too much shit for my thinking noodle to wrap around. Trying to play this game blind without having any previous experience is like trying to read an entire Wikipedia article. I don't even know what half these words mean, and they want me to just choose a card to add to my deck for a 2-hour run? My deck is unplayable! Which brings me to the second thought I formed about this game early on. It is deceptively hard. At first glance, this game seems like something you could just pick up and play, and sometimes it does feel that way. Like, I could just choose cards that seem cool and beat the game. But this accounts for maybe 40% of my playtime at best. So what's the remaining 60%, you ask? Begging for mercy. It's okay, I'll just die here. I didn't want to live anyways. This game can be downright brutal at times. This probably boils down to skill issue, but sometimes you can genuinely be doing everything that you possibly can and just get obliterated by some random chance encounter. You would think that the map would help you with this, and it does to an extent, but at this point, I think it's just meant to lure you into this false sense of security. You mean to tell me the Scrolls of Doom that literally steal maximum HP from you, HP that you cannot get back, by the way, is a normal encounter? No fucking shot. And since we're on the topic of normal encounters, what about the one where you have to kill these ChatGPT ass bots 6 times? Or, better yet, what if you rolled the scrolls again? Wouldn't it just be so funny if during the exact same act, 2 fights later, you rolled the scrolls again? You know, the ones that permanently steal HP from you? That's so funny. What a funny game. This goes hand in hand with the sheer amount of shit you have to remember is even available to you inside this game. Sometimes I'd win a fight and not even know how I won because of all the weird things it's possible to accumulate during one run. I'm not saying I'm opposed to having options. What I am saying is that it's nearly impossible for a dumbass like me to even attempt at making the best of said options while juggling an encyclopedia of bullshit in the back of my skull. Also, how are you supposed to win on this shitty defect character, man? I literally can't do it! I have to come clean and say, this game brought me to my knees more times than I ever imagined possible. So many times that I thought about scrapping this video entirely and going to play a real man's game instead. But as I continue to play more and more, be it due to spite or delusional optimism, I started to unravel some of the more complex mysteries that were once beyond my comprehension. You can use your potions outside of only boss fights. You can just skip the shitty card rewards. You don't always have to fight that large man for the lantern key. That's a lie. Always fight that large man for the lantern key. While spending nearly 20 hours feeling a constant pain on par with having your prison wallet stuffed with coins, I began to finally comprehend. The defect sucks, but more importantly, I started to grasp what made this game so magical to an insane amount of people. The same people that would call the games I enjoy unspeakable things. Originally, I thought the amount of stuff in this game was simply too much to keep track of. And don't get me wrong, the insurmountable amount of bullshit that you have to constantly manage was enough to paralyze me from my left ass cheek upwards starting off. I would guess nearly half my game time is just spent staring at rare card rewards, just to take the worst card I possibly can at that given moment. But after an embarrassing amount of bad decisions, I quickly found myself appreciating the number of options I had when approaching this game in general. All of the variety that comes with deck building, relics, and chance encounters keeps you in this manageable state of confusion. Not enough confusion that stops you from playing the card you want, but just enough confusion that prevents you from reading what it actually does.
Oh wait, he's stunned! I'm not dead!
Skill issues aside, there's something extremely satisfying about seeing a deck you Frankenstein together finally work. Like, for the first time since booting up this godforsaken game, you feel like you're exploiting a system that's been cheating you since the title screen. With just a few of the right cards and relics, you can become just as broken as the creatures you fight. And while this certainly feels good during the moment, I couldn't help but be annoyed by not being able to replicate this consistently, which is the point. If nothing else, this game forces you to make the best shitty decisions you can. Very rarely do you actually get options that are perfect for what you're trying to pull off, and even when you do, sometimes the route you're on is just the biggest piece of shit award show slap in the face ever. I think a majority of the magic people feel while playing this game comes from making the most of extremely bad situations. Although I bitched and moaned the entire time I played, the most fun I had was during moments when I was struggling horribly. That's not to say that the defect doesn't suck, piece of shit character, but it is to say that even when everything looks doomed, you can still make do with whatever you're given. Except for like the 99% of times when you don't actually accomplish your goal and we sweep you under the rug, but I'm trying to end on like a positive note, so let's not talk about that. What we can talk about instead is how I streamed this whole thing live on Twitch. What? Oh my god, bruh, a shameless plug at the end of the video? This Clutch guy is such an asshole. I wish there was some place I could talk shit about him, live, while he read all my messages. Or maybe there's a way I can see all the horrible content he posts so I can continue to tell him his videos suck. Thank God he didn't post another video recently about Resident Evil or something, or I'd be pissed.